Comrades, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. But never fear, this is still version 1.3.1. I have not yet gone to the latest new version 1.4 because obviously all of the mods that we've had installed won't work yet. They have not yet been updated. Also, I think I will wait until the expansion comes out so we can continue with what we have at the moment. Now, also, of course, when that final new expansion Making History comes out, there will probably, we'll have to make a choice, continue with what we have or then move over to the new game, essentially, because they have many new interesting historical parts, which of course we have been working towards and, making our own. So that will be really interesting to actually be able to use those and incorporate them as stock parts. Very interesting. However, there'll be some problems because even if we remove all of the mods, it will obviously take a while before they are all updated, so we're going to have to do without them for a while. But in the case of getting rid of them, we will still have some craft in space that have cameras on them and so on. And then obviously the game won't be able to load those, so they will essentially disappear. But of course there's nothing essential happening in space right now. Most of the objects we've sent up already are space debris, so we don't need them anymore. Let's just go to the tracking station and have a look there again. So comrades, let's see. Sputnik has been in orbit for 3 years and 163 days. Sputnik 2 was essentially launched the same day. The orbiting solar observatory is, we can consider it at any rate, a working craft, so that is still doing its thing there. Syncom Thor Delta is still, of course, our only geostationary communication satellite. I'm not sure if there's any mods on that. We'll have to take a look. Mariner 4, of course, has the camera on it, but that is space debris now. The mole ship as well. There's, of course, the life support stuff on there, but this is also space debris. Actually, we can quickly reclassify these things. I'll do that. Of course, we also have Pioneer 5 now, which is working still, but I think that is fully stock. So let me just go and reclassify these two objects as space debris. We don't need to see them here anymore. So I'll be back with you in one moment, comrades. Right, so it's done. We now have only the vehicles that we want to see here. So essentially, Sputnik 1 and 2 are still operational. But we're obviously not really going back to them. But we keep them there because we don't count them as space debris. Now, comrades, the other thing. This madness, this madness of the mods, it grips you sometimes and then things can get totally out of hand. Let me show you what I mean. Back in the VAB, comrades, but you will see here is what I'm talking about. Just look at all of these parts now. I've installed, what is it called, the Blue Dog Design Bureau. And of course Tantaries as well, the launch vehicles and the craft. And I think that was it essentially. But this adds so many new parts here. And I know this is one thing I said before and you'll have to let me know, comrades. But this can be an experiment for a while, to actually use parts that come from the mods and that actually look like the part, I have been designing the crafts myself with stock parts thus far. But this, of course, allows us to recreate the vehicles more accurately. Although, again, there's the thing now. We start to blur the line between playing a stock KSP game and actually trying to do historical recreations. But for the fun of it, we can do it today. Now, what's on the menu today, comrades? Well, the next step after Mariner 4, the next milestone, is the Orbital Rendezvous between two Gemini craft. There was no docking involved, but they had to get very close and sort of maintain a station keeping. So we're going to try and do that. Of course, there's nothing new there for us. We have done a close rendezvous before when we rescued Valentina, but this will be the first time we do it with two crew vehicles. So a lot of twos there. But let's have a look at this. We can really build this together, comrades, just to show you again all of the parts here. Now this will all be in the Blue Dog Design Bureau mod, which is still for version 1.3.1, as are most mods on Space Dock and all the other sites as well. So we have to start with a Vinci command part, so that's what they call it here. Now this is the Leo M. Now of course we know this is the Gemini, but if we then want the rest of the craft, I just have to search up here for Leo, and then we get a whole host of other parts. So let's zoom in on this thing. Is it not possible right now? There we go. For some reason there was a bit of a pause there. Anyway, so you can see this definitely looks the part more. Of course, even here we can say this is not a faithful recreation of Gemini, because Gemini had two doors, not just the one down here. But again, this is a Kerbal interpretation of an Earth vehicle, which I like. I don't want to model the things exactly, because then there's always going to be a criticism. Why is this wire not in that place, or this pipe is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, and that's not what I want. So let's just have a look at the next thing here. So after we have the actual capsule, we want the re-entry reaction thrusters. So we also had that on. I want to point that out. You see, we also had all of these things. This is not new for us, but it's new to look the part more. Then what's the next thing? I have to think now. There's the docking thing. Now where would they put that? And what would it look like? There's the parachute system. I think that comes next. There is a nose cone. Let's just see. There's the heat shield. Let's see. No, that's totally wrong. That's for the expanded Gemini. Does this thing have a proper heat shield? There we go. That's the thing. I think it's like a frisbee. Heat shield for the Leo capsule. So that looks the part. What else is there? Structural adapters. You know, I have to say, comrades, I'm sure other people have felt the same way. When you get into this kind of mod fever, and there's just mods all over the place, it gets really overwhelming, because there are so many parts now, especially if we're not doing this where we know the Leo parts fit together. If we just do, you know, a craft like this, just look at all of these parts. It's craziness. So we can sit for hours and hours to try and create one vehicle, and that's not really what I'm looking for. But at least, you know, we can make the other argument. There's so many now, so many new options that we can mix and mash parts together and create totally new craft. But I don't know, too many parts, comrades. That's the drawback here. Anyway, we're looking for the docking thing, so let's search that dock. You see, there is the Gemini, the ATV, the Agena target vehicle. Now that certainly looks the part. That's again one of the advantages. Now I just want to see, where is the side? Here it is, the nose docking mechanism. So this fits right over the parachute. Again, we've had that. There was an advert here in South Africa a few years ago for a cell phone company. You can still find it on YouTube, where it's an African dictator, and then they try and tell him, you know, this service has so many new features, and then he always responds, "We've been having it."
We've been having it.
And so that's what I'm gonna say now. We've been having it, comrades. And then the cap goes on the end there. So there we go. That is essentially the Gemini capsule. Now actually it would be interesting to compare this with our one. So I'm not going to save, I'm just going to merge. So merge Gemini 1. Now ours is actually considerably bigger. Anyway, let's just take all of these parts off. So there we can now actually, now I'm going too far. We'll just leave it there. So we can now see there, they obviously have a diameter beneath ours because they now have more options in terms of the different diameters. But still, you know, as far as Kerbal recreations go, I'm still very proud of that. And I still want to use it. Let's just get rid of it now. So, okay, what's the next step? The next step is we need some kind of a service module here. Now, I think I've had a quick look through the parts before this episode. And if I'm not wrong, but now where again will we find this? Let's search for Leo. They don't actually recreate the whole thing. They have this one section here, and this, you see at the back, we've been having it. We had the 2 engines on the back as well, but they don't have a separate retro pack here. So there again, they took a bit of a liberty, but again, that's fine. It's don't have to recreate things. They also have a shorter one, the Medusi service module, but they don't stack. As you can see, that doesn't work, but I guess this is if you're trying to create a smaller one, but that doesn't look quite right. This would be the more faithful recreation of a Gemini craft. So anyway, let's actually read this here. It says, this is the good thing also, they do incorporate the TAC life support. Hydrogen-oxygen fuel cell produces electric current and drinking water for 15 days. Also provides additional storage for breathing oxygen. Supports 2 Kerbals. So if we right click on it, we see there's a lot of oxygen here. There's also hydrogen, which of course we don't normally use, but this is for creating water. Let's just see under this life support aid. There's a lot of oxygen, 77 days with the max crew. So much more than we need. We can actually reduce that. Depends what we're looking for. I don't want them to be up for more than 5 days really. We'll say 10 for safety. And then of course it gives us room to maneuver to try and get this rendezvous. But food and water. So water we can actually create from the hydrogen there, so we don't need to worry about that. But food we do need to bring, so I actually need to get an extra life support container of food. The question is, where are we going to put it? I guess we'll use the small one, then we'll just put 2 of them on again on both sides and then just move them inside this module. Now again, this will add way too much, so we'll just reduce that. 11 days is fine, so we'll just move this in now and hide it a little bit. Just like that. Obviously they would take enough food in this capsule. Maybe we should rather put it in there. I think that would be more faithful, because they can't get food from the back here. So let's just put this here, and then... Did I do this right now? No, I did not. Oh, good grief. So many things. There, now it's right. So now we can just move this in, and the C key doesn't do anything here. So it doesn't have an absolute offset. Or a relative, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, there it is now. So they have enough food. Again, too much though. 47 days. I don't want 47 days of food if we're not going for a 47-day mission. That's wasteful. 11 days, that's enough with a safety margin. And of course water as well, so we know that we create that together with electricity. So everything is in place, comrades. I wonder, is there an antenna for this thing? Did they create one? Let's have a look. Now again, here's where the craziness begins, comrades. So many, oh good grief, folding arms and things, but none of this looks right. There's an omni antenna, but that clearly was not there. I have no idea. This is the drawback, I guess. Well, they're in low orbit, so we don't need one. That's totally wrong. Here's another antenna. Look at that one. That's an interesting one. Extendable. Good grief. Look at this. No, we don't need to worry about it. Okay, so we'll be able to communicate just with the capsule. Now, next thing, the booster, comrades, the booster. Let's just see what is the radius of this thing right now. Now again, look at the part madness. Let's just look at a normal stock one. So there's again the thing. They are still using a smaller radius than we had to work with. So, of course, that gives more options. But anyway, now we need a decoupler. So let's go back to Leo. No, it's not actually Leo. The booster is called something else. Now, what was it? It's Prometheus. That's what we're looking for. So I think it's this one, even though it says deprecated there, it does look the part. So we'll just bring the force% way down. And then, good grief, there was so many parts here. I actually looked this up a little bit before starting, just to see again, because they do have some pictures, the mod creators, of what these things look like. But now if I can recreate it, I think it's that on the upper stage. Then it's this engine, of course. Then we have the decoupler, but it's a special one. I think it's this one. Then we have another part. Good grief. That's sort of the flame trench there. When we activate that engine, we of course use the heat shield. Then it's the upper stage, so it has those holes at the top. Then there's this one, I think. And then we just move this up. We of course have the Prometheus or the Titan engine. So that's it, comrades. There we go. There's the recreation now, all finished. So this is a relatively simple build, but still it does require a bit of thought. So let's create some, just, I don't know, launch clamps. They actually use the FASA Apollo launch clamps and launch towers and things. FASA again has not been updated for a long time, but anyway, we'll just use this one. I like this one. And then move it down a bit. And something like that. We could even now be extra and have one of these sort of ramps going, no, just one-time symmetry. Going to the door there. You know, that's the thing. Mods really do make one crazy because you can take things too far. But there, now they can actually walk all the way there. Now this looks more the part again. Is there any way that we can now see? Now this is madness. I wonder, do they actually go up this thing? Why do I remember something like that? Or they actually start in the tower. That's right, that's right. So now we have to decide who is going on this mission, comrades. Oh wait, we're not finished. We are not finished. Of course we have the RCS packs. I also want to turn off wheel authority again, because that's how we roll. Then they have this translation pack. This goes at the top here. And 4x symmetry, and for some reason it does sit a little strange though. Just want to move it a little bit, you know. Oh, good grief. Let's just go back to normal. No. There. Just bring the bottom a bit in, and then we can also offset this a little bit more. But not so that it starts clipping into the thing. Just like that. That looks much more, much nicer. Then, of course, we have the rotation pack as well, which goes near the bottom at a 45-degree angle. They also explain that there. 45 degrees from the primary axis. And that does it. There's another one here. 3-way thruster. Originally capsule and the service module. I think that's for the lunar Gemini, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, this will do. This works. Let's just see how much monopropellant we have. Not a lot, so we're going to have to be very judicious there. Anyway, so now we have to decide. I will call this. This will now... How many Geminis have we had? We had the original test. That was Gemini 1 that we just loaded up. Then the second one was the mole. But we won't count that because that was a... Even though, no. Do we count that as a Gemini? I suppose we do, because when they detached, they really were a Gemini craft. So this will be Gemini 3. No, not Gemini. Gemini 3. Save that. Okay, now we choose the crew. So for this, we will need a pilot. Let us take Jebediah. No, should we take Jebediah? We've had pilots who've never flown. I think we should use them. So Megan has some experience, but Newbert has never gone. So we'll take Newbert. I will also take the engineers, because this is not really so much of a scientific mission. This is more of a sort of engineering effort. So we will take Nanny Kerman there. Then, okay, in this case we can actually just have them walk over. So this will be our first crew. Just save again and make sure we have enough supplies on board. 2 hours for water, but we do have enough, we know that. No, but we're not talking about 18 crew here. Current crew, 3 days, that's fine. Launch. No remote controlled or manned modules, but that's because they still have to enter the thing, but let's launch anyway. Comrades, we are on the launch pad. It's a fine day here. And this, wow, this certainly looks the part, don't you agree? So let's get our brave crew somehow. We actually offset this thing, good grief. Didn't realize that. Oh well, doesn't matter. I guess it gives us more clearance. Now, where's the crew? Can I actually get them? How does this thing work again? I don't want to transfer them. I want to see them walk over. There we go, EVA. So we'll take Newbert first. Don't fall off. There, look, he's ready. This looks so fantastic, comrades. Oh man, I love this. Now he's bravely walking over here, just appreciating the view, of course. He does seem to be sliding, but that's okay. He's not going to stay here too long. What a view. And of course we pretend he's carrying his helmet there. Then we just say grab and board, and that's it. So the first one is ready. Now the second. EVA, Nanny Kerman. There we go. Second crew member. I'll never ever get tired of this. Never. So grab and board. And they are ready, comrades. I think, let's just get the staging. I never checked the staging. Hey, bad. But we can change it all here. So we just want to move this down. So all of that releases. Then, why do we have 2 things there? I think we were only supposed to use 1. Oh well, doesn't matter. We'll use that one, so I'll take the bottom one up. We don't need that one. Then I'll fire the engine at the same time. Then of course it releases and then we use the craft. Good. So F5 this. And then SAS. And for this one we will launch together, I think, comrades, because we want to see this thing in action. So 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Uh-oh, got a bit of a wobble there because of the launch tower, but that sorted itself out. So actually for the next one I need to auto strut this a little bit. Now there we have an actual Titan, but still, comrades, I do love the one we built together. Now it's just a case of doing a normal launch here. So where are we aiming for? I suppose about 150 kilometers will be fine. We just want to get close to the other Gemini. This thing has quite a turn rate here. Now, of course, our pilot here, Newbert, seems to be panicking a little bit, and so is Nanny Kerman. Okay, well, they'll be fine. This is their first time. You see they're relaxing a bit now. Now, because they're both inexperienced, but specifically the pilot here, we don't actually have a lock to pro grade, but that's fine. I can do this. I can do this. I do have some experience. Let me just bring the gimbal limit down. I think it's a bit too aggressive. There we are. Now, I've seen on the Kerbal subreddit, somebody actually said, well, this is actually where I learned about this mod, so I will give them that credit. But they said, you know, why bother with the expansion now that adds some historical parts when you can have this for free right now? And the thing is, I think there's no reason why, once this is updated, of course, why you can't still have this and the option of using stock parts. Because let's be honest, comrades, most players don't, I think, use mods, especially those who just play casually. But still, having that option of, let me just slow down a bit, of having stock parts that actually approximate historical craft, it has a very strong educational aspect to it. Okay, stage. There we go, it didn't blow up. That's what I want to see. So, and of course, the fact is, more parts equals more better, because we have more options and we can do more things, and it's never a bad thing. I think it's just fine. I'm looking forward to this expansion. And also the thing is, there will be so many sort of missions now. That's the whole point as well, the mission builder aspect, that will also keep the game fresh, you know, because there will be always somebody making a new mission and new challenges and things like that, because that's the one thing about the KSP community. There's always a high level of activity. This is not a game that has, you know, lost its appeal. So let's just wait for 150 and cut the engine and ditch the nose cap, I think. Decouple node, there we go, it's on its way. So yes, that's just my opinion. Now, of course, there's the whole thing about the new end-user license agreement and the fact that it's now Take-Two and not really Squad anymore. But I don't know, this is the way things go, comrades. It's still, like they said, and they've really tried to reassure people here, I think, with their latest weekly developer log thing, where they still say, obviously, everything is to you know, friendly for modders, and still the mission builder will bring in different mods and things. It has the option, and you know, I think the modding community has been a real strong suit of this game, and I think also they realize that they don't want to lose that either. So I don't know, there is this whole thing now about the end user agreement stating that Take-Two can actually take ownership of the mods that people make, but I don't know the specifics of that. I'm not a mod maker, but even in that case, I would think a lot of mod makers would not truly mind. Of course, if they're given credit and all of that, that's really the thing. They're not in it for the money, they're in it for the love of the game and adding something interesting. So if that somehow actually makes it into the stock game, then surely that's a good thing, as long as Take-Two is open about it and approaches the people. And I don't know, but that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. But anyway, we're almost ready for the burn now. Just keeping us on the 90 here. Stunning, stunning, stunning. I have to say, here again, you see now how detailed this craft is because of this mod maker. Fantastic. So this is the Blue Dog Design Bureau. If you're interested, you can just look that up. And it's not for 1.4, it's just for 1.3.1. So, I wonder when we should burn now. I think we should wait a little while longer. Just speed it up. Okay, let's burn. Just keep it steady. Want to keep it as close to the apoapsis, of course, as possible. But I do like mods, you know. Again, here I have to say, for the most part, I never really used these part packs. It was stuff like the Kerbal Engineer and things like that. Now, in that case, I would not object if they decided to bring that into the stock game. Of course, the nice thing to do is to ask the mod creator to do that and give them full credit, not just to say we take ownership of all mods. But again, this is a thing, you know. I would hope that they would do the nice thing. But maybe I'm naive. But still, I want to see this in the stock game. Anyway, I think at this point... why are you misbehaving now? Anyway, ditch it. We're close enough to our target. And what I actually want to do now is just wait until... Actually, we don't have to wait. But now, I want to get it as close to 150 as possible. So let's go around a bit, comrades. It doesn't really matter. There goes the thing. More space debris. Okay, 3 minutes, 1 minute. Let's just reverse this thing. I want to bring the apoapse down a little bit. So here, exactly like we did, comrades, they made the monopropellant engines on the service pack here throttleable like a normal engine. Now, we've been having it, comrades, whatever I said. Now we actually have the prograde and retrograde because Newbit has experience now. Let's bring down the apoapse. There it is. And now we just go around. Then we raise the periapse again. Unfortunately, we can't see the calculation of the delta V because it's monopropellant. Okay, whoa, don't overreact, we were in the right position. Let's just bring it up a little bit. You can stop wobbling now, please. 149 by 151 is good enough. So there we are, comrades, there we are. There is Gemini 3 and the crew is happy now. They see they've actually survived this whole thing. And here is another thing, you know, this was also in the real world, this whole, what do they call it, an indexing key, where when they docked with the ATV, this thing actually slotted nicely into the ATV, so they knew the docking was happening correctly. Now again, this is stuff we can't recreate, but still, I have to say we've never seen the ATV that I've designed, but I'm still happy about it. Now anyway, there we are. So now, comrades, actually, well, it doesn't matter now if I rotate us so the windows are up. There's no up anyway, but from this perspective, let's just do it anyway. Like I said before, I think when we're in low orbit, Kerbin is still really our reference frame, so using this camera view is always nice. Anyway, so there we are. So now go back to the space center, or actually before we do that, let's wait until we're in a rough position for the next launch. I think right there. So now we go back.